folks, Corey here at Venom Outdoors. In this video we're going to show you just how simple it is to adjust the Venom floats. We have the only bobber on the market that you can adjust up or down in buoyancy without cutting or modifying components. We're going to show you adjustments that only the Venom bobber is capable of. No other bobber on the market can do what the Venom floats do. We'll show you that in just a moment. Let's get down to it. Alright guys, here's our 4 jigs and the 1 spoon that we're going to be using today. We have our large pin on weight and small pin on weight here just for a size comparison of the jigs. We're going to be showing the minimum buoyancy and the maximum buoyancy for each set of components. We'll talk about that further in detail. Keep in mind that with the Venom floats you can get a seamless adjustment all the way from our smallest jig to our spoon over here, a lot larger, and we can obtain neutral buoyancy with any size jig in between there. Alright guys, let's talk real quick about our lower body here. As you can see down the side we have hash marks, and when you put your foam insert in you can actually see the foam through the side of the lower body. So you can gauge your buoyancy adjustments real easily with those hash marks. Down on your line attachment, this is molded all the way around solid, so you never have to worry about this bobber falling off your line. However, if you do want to make a quick detach, just we have a notch down here that can be cut. Take a sharp razor knife and go ahead and put a slot right through that one side, and now you have a quick detach bobber. Alright guys, we're going to try and give you a close-up view of a pin on weight being inserted here. What we want to do is just go ahead and insert our weight right into the middle of the foam, and then when we go to insert the foam insert, we want to put the weighted end of the lower body in first. Now you should be able to see those hash marks, and you should be able to see the foam moving up and down. So now if you want to use those hash marks to gauge your adjustment level, you can do that. Alright guys, we're going to start with our bobber set at our minimum buoyancy. We have the large pin on weight and the short foam insert. The pin on weights were designed to eliminate the need for sinkers on your line to achieve your neutral buoyancy with small jigs. I'll show you that in just one moment. Go ahead and insert the weighted end of your foam insert right down into the lower body all the way to the bottom. And as you can see right off the bat, we're just above neutral buoyancy. So if we go ahead and we pull the bobber out of the water, put our small jig in that we showed earlier, you can see how tiny that jig is. And if we go ahead and put that in the water, we're right at neutral buoyancy. No sinkers, no split shot. So if you're in the clear waters, shallow waters, the fish are being spooked by the sinkers or they're nipping at the sinkers, you don't need sinkers to achieve the neutral buoyancy with the Venom bobber. Now if you go ahead and we pull that jig off and we put the second size jig in that we showed you in the beginning of the video, you'll see right away that the bobber is going to sink like a brick. It's not a problem with the Venom design. What we're going to do is we'll pull it out, we'll tap the lower body up so you can see those hash marks, and we're going to go ahead and adjust our bobber all the way up to maximum buoyancy, and we'll set it back in the water. And just that fast guys, you're right back at neutral buoyancy. Now if you did want to go back to that smaller jig again, keep in mind there's no cutting. We just twist that foam back in, we're at neutral buoyancy with the small jig once again, and then we're done. No modification whatsoever, just that fast and easy. You can use larger jigs or smaller jigs, whatever you want, with the pin on weights and still get the neutral buoyancy without sinkers. Alright guys, just to show what the Venom bobber is capable of, we have the most sensitive bobber on the market, hands down. If you notice, I'll push this down to the bottom and you'll see just how slow it comes back to the surface. Now to do that with the cut style bobber, chances are you're going to cut and cut until you cut too much and then it sinks. Not a big deal with this bobber. If you did go a little bit too low on buoyancy, you could just pull that foam back out. You don't have to worry about that at all. It's like an infinite spring bobber. The fish is not going to feel that down in the water at all. You can actually see it bounce when it gets back to the surface. Easy adjustments, you can achieve this in a matter of seconds. Alright guys, to show that we have a seamless adjustment range, we've changed over to our small pin on weight. Still have the short foam insert. And we're going to insert the pin on the weighted end of the foam insert down into the lower body, down to our minimum buoyancy level. We have the same jig end that we just had a moment ago. We were at maximum buoyancy with the large pin on weight. Now we're going to minimum buoyancy with the small pin on weight. When I put that in the water, you can see right away we're at neutral buoyancy. So we had that seamless adjustment going from the large pin on weight to the small pin on weight. So if we change out our jig and we move over to our next size up, we'll go ahead and put that on the bobber and set that in the water. The bobber, once again, it's going to sink right to the bottom. Not a big deal. What we'll do is we'll take a look at our hash marks here. And I'm going to go ahead and pull the foam insert out to our maximum buoyancy level. And we'll go ahead and we'll put our jig back in the water with the bobber, and just that fast we're back at neutral buoyancy. Didn't have to modify components. We go from that smaller jig to the larger jig. Just pull the foam out, guys. That's all you have to do. Alright guys, we've got the same jig end that we just had a moment ago, but we did remove our pin on weight completely. So with the small pin on weight at maximum buoyancy, it was holding up this jig at neutral buoyancy. Now we're dropping down to our minimum buoyancy level. We'll set that back in the water and we're right back at that neutral buoyancy level where we want to be at. Now if we go ahead and we pull this jig off and we put our next size on there, you can see this jig is a pretty large jig. And once again, we'll show you the bobber is just going to sink like a brick. And what we'll do is we'll start to pull our foam out of the lower body. And we're going to pull that out to be right at about maximum buoyancy. So we want to be right about there. We'll put that back in the water, and just that quick, guys, we're right back at neutral buoyancy with that larger jig. So if you change out from a small minnow to a bigger minnow, you can change that buoyancy level to accommodate smaller jig to a larger jig, or vice versa. Alright guys, once again we have the same jig end that we just did a second ago here, but we changed over from the short foam insert to the long foam insert. And what we're going to do is we're going to push our long foam insert down to the bottom for our minimum buoyancy level again. And we had neutral buoyancy at maximum adjustment with the short foam insert. Now we're at minimum buoyancy level on the bobber. We'll set that in the water, and right away the bobber is just a little bit above neutral buoyancy. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll change over to our maximum weight, and this is just representing the maximum weight of the bobber, or that the bobber will hold. And we'll put that in the water. Once again, you guys already know this, but the bobber is going to sink. And we'll go ahead and we'll look at our hash marks, and we'll start twisting the foam insert out. Pull that out to about our maximum buoyancy level, and put that back in the water. And right there, it's showing about our maximum buoyancy of the bobber for the AB model Venom float. Alright guys, up until now we've talked about the pin on weights on the short foam insert for neutral buoyancy. Let's talk a little bit more about positive buoyancy, or more of the foam sticking out of the water. The pin on weights can be used on the long or the short foam insert, either one you want to use it with. And if we went back to our second jig down here, we're going to go ahead and insert our pin on weight down inside the lower body, and we'll just twist it about halfway down in. And if your bobber is difficult to see, you can always use that pin on weight to help the bobber stand upright, but to make your foam more visible. If the bobber is favoring your side of the hole when you're out ice fishing, it's more visible that way, easier to see. Whatever you want to do with it, just showing you another option of what the Venom floats do. Alright guys, let's talk a moment about our night bite model here. We have a glow-in-the-dark lower body, we have a glow-in-the-dark strike indicating cap, we have white foam inserts that are more visible in low light conditions. And the strike indicating cap, we install that just by twisting that over the top of the foam insert. We're going to show you our second jig, or our second smallest jig size. Now we do have the small pin on weight on our foam insert. The pin on weights do not come with this model, but they are available separately, or the ones in the daytime model packages are interchangeable with the night bite. Now we'll go ahead and we'll insert our foam, go ahead and push that right down to the bottom. And we'll put that in the water. As you can see with the setup that we have here, the strike indicating cap is sticking up a nice long ways out of the water. Very visible, night fishing, low light conditions, extremely nice to use. We recommend a UV LED light, but a high powered LED light will work as well. Alright guys, let's talk just a moment. If you check out the website, you'll see all these models that are available. We have our standard daytime kit, orange lower body, yellow foam inserts, and then both sizes of pin-on weights with that. We have our breast cancer awareness model, pink foam and lower body with the orange pin-on weights, both sizes with that. And then our night bite model, we have the glow-in-the-dark lower body and strike indicating cap with our white foam inserts. And then we have the pin-on weights available separately for replacement or to add to your night bite model. Alright guys, you can see just how simple the Venom floats are to use. Up and down in buoyancy all day long, never having to modify components. Get out there and give it a shot just for a day. You won't go back to your cutoff style bobbers. You're going to know this bobber inside and out in no time flat. Cut style bobbers, you're actually taking part of the bobber away to go down in buoyancy. You cut away at it till you throw it away, then you get another one, you cut away at that till you throw it away. This bobber will pay for itself in no time flat. All the components are made to last. It's all made in the USA. All of us at Venom Outdoors would like to thank you for watching the video. Thank you for your business, and good luck out there on the ice.